Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Foundations Unscripted. I am Tiffany,
And I'm Anthony.
and we are so happy you're here. If you missed us last episode, it's called Faith, Fate, and Finding the One. You can listen to it anywhere you listen to podcasts or on our YouTube channel. And if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and check yes for notifications so that every time we come out with a new episode, you'll be the first to hear about it. We got a lot of good topics to unpack today, so let's go ahead and get into it.
Oh my gosh. We finally made it back. I
Yep.
feel like it's been,
I have
a week and a half, and I haven't even seen my wife. She went down to Houston, so I feel like you guys are seeing her again, but I'm also seeing my wife again for a second. Oh, but we got so many great things. I don't know if you guys can tell. If you're on video, you can see we got these new little mic stands.
Yeah, we're looking official.
We're making progress. We're getting there slowly, but surely. But is this about to be fun?
So
or
fun.
what? We're about to
Yes.
have so many big things to talk about. Because last episode, we talked about, with finding the one, and understanding who that person is for you, but now we're trying to get into a little bit more. We're going to dive a little bit deeper.
A little bit more granular.
Exactly right. A little bit more into this, because I think, there's so many questions about, marriage and relationships and finding the one. And I know, like I said, we already talked about, getting there and when we're there and, what that relationship and how, impactful it can be, but I want to reel it in just a little bit, and take it a little bit, slower and start from the beginning, when we're thinking about relationships and, look at marriage. This is something that's going to be a long-term thing. This is going to be,
Right.
20 plus years, of being with somebody.
Hopefully more than 20.
Hopefully more, because hopefully nobody,
Hopefully more than 20.
Hopefully more than 20. You're right. But this is somebody you're going to spend the rest of your life with. It's a very important and crucial,
very important, yes.
Step. Would you agree?
Big and life milestone.
Exactly. And it's, it's funny to me when I think about, before I met you, it was like, what do I look for? What are the things that, that I'm supposed to be doing? Because and then there's so many questions, there's so many broken hearts, there's so many things that can, hesitate you when you think about the word
Oh,
love.
absolutely.
Yes. And what that's going to do, and that's where I want to kind of start this, first topic, and first question, when we're talking about marriage, we're talking about getting a relationship. And there's so many things that can happen within a relationship, but you hope that you can start it off on the right foot, that right note.
Yeah.
And, if I were to ask you, Tiff, if we were thinking about relationships, what are things that, how do I word this? What are things that you can do at the very beginning that sets, clear expectations, sets, realistic boundaries, on what this relationship is supposed to be? And then like what you are seeing for you, for your future, like how do you set those root foundations, those baselines for a relationship before you even get into it, or when you're very first starting in that relationship?
And I think starting, and I like that you said boundaries too. That's two key words. Because I'll just start by saying like dating, like you're only dating somebody to eventually marry them, right? Like that's the whole purpose of dating somebody, is kind of vetting them in a way and like figuring out if you and this person mesh well, if you guys are on the same page about, what are your standards? What are your beliefs? What are your core values in life? Do you want kids? What are your goals? What are your dreams? What are your ambitions? Like, what do you want to do with your life? And, finding out if you and that person are on the same page, because you want to marry somebody who increases you, who points you in the right direction, who helps you reach your potential, not somebody who's going to limit you and drag you down.
Exactly. No, and that's, ooh, babe, yes. And that is, you can say if you agree, but would you agree? It's not to the standpoint of like, we're saying that you have to be perfect entering into the relationship, because even with me and you, like what we kind of hit on the last episode of, my trials and the things that I dealt with mentally, I don't think there is any ability for me to say that you have to come in perfect in the relationship. But I think there has to be an understanding that if I'm struggling with this, or I'm not necessarily where I want to be in my career, I'm not necessarily, at the financial standpoint that I want to be at, that is completely fine. But would you agree that there has to be a future or an outcome that you're hoping that you're going to get to? And isn't that like the base that I feel like we should kind of set that expectation? Like, it's not that I don't care where you are, but I'm looking at where we're going to be, and if we're going to be married, hopefully we're dating for a second before we're married. I mean, I know we didn't necessarily wait that long. But, I think there has to be a level of setting, this is where I want to go. These are the dreams. These are the aspirations that I have for myself. And I'm hoping that I can bring you into it with me, do you agree?
Yeah. And I think, those are conversations that you need to have early on. Like, you have to have the hard conversations, guys. And the longer you put it off, the more pain it's going to cause you and the more time you're going to waste, you know? And Anthony and I had to do that in our relationship. When we first started dating, our text messages, you guys, were books and paragraphs and just laying it all out there on the table. And
we read the Bible
I
before
couldn't, I couldn't recommend that more. Just putting out there, like, your testimony, where you've been in life, where you're at currently, the stuff you're dealing with now, where you're heading. Like Anthony said, what do you want for your future? And just because that's the whole point, right? Like, getting to know somebody. For us, it was natural, and it should be, just talking to your person and figuring out like how they're gonna support you. What's their response? Like, when you're telling them your biggest traumas and triggers, are they supportive? Are they there to comfort you? Like, how are they reacting, you know?
And I think that's huge, because that was one thing for me when I first started this relationship. I was terrified of getting hurt again. Yeah. And I'm not going to say I threw like a little like hook out there to see if you would grab it and if you would be there to support me. But it was, a way. I mean, in a way, it was one of those things where I needed, I'm not going to say I gave Tiff all of my, dirty baggage at the very beginning and told her everything, but I definitely, had to let her know what I had struggled with. And I think you comforting me in realizing that, hey, that there is somebody out there that understands and won't judge me, that will also be there to hold my hand, to comfort me, to support me. That was one of the very first things that I realized, that I could actually love this woman. I could love you. And without me having these hard, awkward, and uncomfortable discussions where I just kind of had to lay it out, I think that really allowed us to say like, hey, Anna's, really trying to be something bigger than what he is right now. Tiff can actually help me, because as insecure and as, nerve-wracking it is for me to say my burdens, it also allowed me to know that, hey, this woman is different. She can actually support me. She can also help me. But even also the other things, like when you were telling me, that you wanted to have a family. Oh my goodness, I just slapped this mic. That that you wanted to have a family, because I feel like that's also important. Just those good things, those positive. I don't think it has to always be, giving out the dirty baggage, but realigning with that. You wanted to have a family, because some people don't want to have family, and that's not wrong, but
it's something you need to know up front.
Exactly.
And it's like I said, it's gonna save time, it's gonna save pain.
Yeah, and it's gonna save a lot of troubles down the road, because these conversations are gonna have to happen at some point,
right?
And there's a lot of things that you can also kind of figure out about somebody, and what they want to become, and that is, what I also think is so hard in modern day, because there's so many avenues of life and avenues of path where you can do things. There's a lot of entrepreneurial opportunities for people, and I think, I had somebody come to me and kind of ask me this question, and I want to ask you, Tiff, I'm going to kind of put you on the spot for a second, because I think it's an important, conversation to have, but let's say you're meeting him or her, and, it's a great person, but something that they want to do in life doesn't align with your values or your belief, and it doesn't. I think we all know that there's certain things out there that might not resonate so well for me, but if I am loving someone, if I am, so intimately connected, and I'm like, this is my person, what do you do? Or is that okay if there is something that doesn't necessarily align, but you're like, this is the one, she is the one, he is the one, whatever it may be. I mean, what do you?
Well, I think first and foremost, like when you are married to somebody, you're a significant other, and like we're talking about in marriage, like you become one, you're unified, like you're now a team, and so you no longer can just think of yourself and how you benefit and how you are reflected in a certain situation, because you're also a direct reflection of your spouse. In the way that you talk, in the way that you act, the way you respond to things. You're a reflection of the two of you as a team. And I think when you put that at the forefront of your mind, that's how you've got to make decisions. And you when making big decisions, you should come to your spouse and have that conversation with them. Like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. Like, what are your thoughts? Are there any hesitations? Like, your respect and trust goes both ways. And that is something so crucial in a marriage, especially, in ours. And that was what we kind of learned over dating and over marriage. It's not something you like get it, check it, and it's done. It's a continual thing, but it's so important. And just to backtrack just a second, in dating, I think that was a big thing for us, was learning each other's communication style and learning how to gain trust, because it's not just given. I had to do certain things to show Anthony and prove to him that I was trustworthy and that it was okay for him to let me love him and to love me in return. Because this is a relationship that you're nurturing, and together, like, you're pouring out yourself and you want that in return, right? Like, it's not just a give or just a take. Like, it's a meet in the middle and move forward.
No, I think that's, I mean, do I even need to be in this podcast? I mean, you say everything so perfectly, but no, I mean, I couldn't have said anything, better, because I do, I personally believe if there are two people that are meant for each other, based off of my faith, the end outcome will be positive. It will flourish. It will prosper into something. And so, I'm not saying that you have to completely agree on what they're doing, but we've got to know that that's not the end point. We've got to know that there is something that, whether I'm going to get there tomorrow, next year, even if it's 30 years from now, 50 years from now, as long as I know that you are trying to do something bigger and better and that you're trying to make progress over perfection. Not that that's my album cover or anything like that. Perfect timing. Okay. But I think that progress is way better than perfection. And I think that is ultimately what sets the baseline, because I don't think any relationship you have to come into it perfect. There's absolutely no way because
literally not possible.
I've gotten better from marrying you.
Same.
And I don't know if there are things that I would have ever been able to learn or grow, or the wisdom, the character, the personality traits. I don't think I would have ever learned it if I didn't marry you and able to grow with you. But I think you set a clear expectation and boundary that I'm not saying you have to be perfect, but I do have to say that you have to be striving for as close as possible to perfection.
Right. And going off your other point, a big thing in our relationship that I've noticed too is that he's saying like, oh, I've gotten better since marrying you. And I'm like, oh, same. But that happens because like the Holy Spirit works through you and to the other person. And it is the most wild thing, but also the sweetest and best reward of marriage, I think, is listening to your spouse and not just always talking at them, but like I was saying, when you're making a decision, or like when you're going through something, you're struggling, having a hard time, wanting a perspective shift, whatever it may be, talk about it with your spouse, because 9 times out of 10, I'll say, Anthony has a word for me, guys. And I'm like, I'll just like resonate on it. I'm like, that's exactly what I needed to hear, whether I wanted to hear it or not. God speaks through him to me all the time. And so I'm getting better because of who he is, but also like how God is working through him to me and in our relationship.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more, because I think if you know me, I'm a little hard-headed, and I think it's the same thing. If it's like, yeah, just a little bit. Yeah, you definitely underestimating that word right there. But I mean, I have to piggyback off of that, because there are some things that I don't think I would have learned unless you told me, no matter who it came from, no matter who said it, no matter how hard I hit my head, I don't think that I would have actually been able to process it and try to implement it into my daily life unless you gave it to me. And that is what I think is so impactful about marriage, that if we weren't able to truly understand where I am trying to be, and when I am coming off of my path, off of my road, off of my purpose, off of my why, you are the person that realigns me instantly. I mean, there is no questions. If Ant is doing something that is not within his why, you're going to call me out on it. And I think those are those hard conversations. I think that is being with somebody that challenge you to be better as a person.
Yes.
And challenges you. And I don't even want to say challenge, because I think it's encouragement.
Oh,
I don't think
it's both.
I think it's, yeah, we can say it's both challenging and encouraging to have somebody that truly values what you are supposed to do in this world.
Yes.
You know, because there are things that every single person, I don't care how tall, how short, how wide, how thin, what color, I don't care. There is a person that has a purpose for this world, and that is for every single person. And I think sometimes, well, no, I'm not even going to say sometimes. I'm going to say all the time, it takes two people to make that outcome prosper. You know, what is that? Ecclesiastes 4 and 12, when it talks about, you know, having two is important, but even three is like a triplicated board. What in the world? It's like a triple corded braid. You know, and that's one of our funny, you know, things that we say. We're the trio. It takes me and you, and then our Heavenly Father, you know, and it's just the morals, the values, the things. I mean, me and Tiff, I mean, we are far from perfect, but when you put us together, that word perfect becomes a little bit more distinguishable. It really makes the opportunity of perfect even coming into the picture, because there's no way I would be anything close to what I'm supposed to be doing if it weren't for you.
Well, and you're an accountability partner, you know. Sometimes you want it and sometimes you don't. You know, it's not always fluff and puff and happy go lucky.
Yeah.
But it's trusting, like I trust that Anthony has my best interest in mind. So when he's talking to me or like giving me advice or feedback on something, even if in the moment I'm kind of frustrated by it, or, you know, my ego gets the best of me or whatever, like I hear him out, because I know that he loves me and I know that he cares about me, and he speaks so much wisdom into my life and into my choices that I may not have come to, you know, on my own.
Yeah. No, it's so powerful, you know, and I hope that somebody who is sitting on the opposite side of this lens is not feeling defeated, you know, and not looking at us as an idle relationship. We are speaking from two broken people that met each other and grew into this with a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication. And there is no ability for us to say that we're perfect or that we're, you know, doing everything correctly. But if you are feeling like there is not somebody out there for you, I'm going to put a hard pause and stop on that and tell you that there is somebody out there. And we hope that, you know, as we go along this journey in this podcast, and as we continue to talk about important and very, you know, sensitive, vulnerable topics, that people start to see that there is somebody out there for you, but there's also people like you that have struggled, that have questioned themselves, that have questioned, what am I doing? Am I doing this correctly? You know, wondered, will I ever find love? Will I ever find that other person that I can do this thing called life with? And we hope that you are feeling empowered and hopeful from this, but also giving yourself a clear expectation that what we are talking about, we are able to say personally that it helped and that it worked, you know, and that there's an opportunity for you to set a boundary, for you to set a clear expectation for somebody, and that they will be able to meet it. Because there's a lot of times where I'm like, am I setting my boundaries, my expectations too high? Like, do I have to lower them to get that person that I think is important, that I think is for me? And I'm going to tell you no. You need to keep your expectations. You need to keep your boundaries as high as possible. Absolutely. Because when you do find that person that does meet that expectation, you're like,
never settle.
I'm onto something, because
that's a whole nother topic for another day.
Yeah,
never settle. I could preach on that for a while.
We're opening up a can of worms, and that's, you know, we've got so many, you know, things to talk about, you know, but this was important, you know, to really show that there is building a marriage worth fighting for.
Yes. And I think another key thing that I wanted to hit on in our marriage has been communication. That is huge, I think, in all relationships, and something that we don't take lightly. Yeah. Something that does take work and effort to learn how to communicate with your spouse and to get on the same page about stuff. Yeah. I think it's really important to figure out and learn each other's love language and how to serve that person, because the way that you receive love is 9 times out of 10 the way that you show love to others, but that may not be how your spouse receives it, So understanding that alone has like night and day for us, understanding, and like we were saying back in the dating, understanding where your person has come from, the things they've been through, the stuff they've dealt with, their triggers, and why, the why behind like the things that they do. If they react to something, not just like getting angry at how they reacted, but understanding why and getting to that root issue. And Anthony is so good at that. He's like my personal therapist, guys. He like knows that I'm upset about something before I even know it. And it's just a beautiful thing.
It is. I mean, that's what love is for. It is that one single commandment that can change the world. It can change a person's mind. It can change a person's trajectory in life when you find love and peace, and man, we just hope that there is somebody out there in the community that can hear us, can hear the love that we have for each other, but also can feel that there is somebody who has gone through the trials of going through a broken heart, that has gone through the trials of setting an expectation that was not met by the other party, but at the very end of it found someone that can meet those expectations, that can create those new standards, and that can, propel you to bigger and better.
Yep.
In this life, and man, it's real. It's this thing called love. And I mean, it's the divorce rates. I mean,
I was just going to say,
we got to be realistic and rational and not act like this thing called love is easy, because the divorce rates are just going throughout, through the roof. I mean, it is, the grass is always greener on the other side. Yeah. I made a commitment, but only when the commitment satisfied me and the things that I wanted and my needs, but once they're not met, I'm on to the next, and it's hard.
It's sad.
But I can tell you, the Antwines, that we're going to do our due diligence to not be anywhere close to that.
We will not be in that statistic.
No, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, but also allowing other people to not be a part of a statistic.
Yep.
And being part of the other statistic that nobody ever talks about, dying happily married. Nobody, I don't even know what that statistic is. Everybody knows what the divorce rate is, but nobody knows about the countless of other marriages that completely succeeded all their expectations and just died happy, knowing that they had a counterpart, that they started a foundation of family members, aunts, uncles, cousins, that started from 2 people, setting the expectation, setting the foundation, and letting it just build off of that.
And I think a lot of divorces stem from one person not having their needs or wants fulfilled by the other.
Yeah.
And I think there's, a lot to unpack there, but I'll just say, do everything you can to be that for your spouse. Like, anything Anthony needs and wants, like, I want to be that for him so he doesn't have to go and search for that somewhere else, Obviously, I am not God. I'm not Christ. I'm not ever going to take the place of that. And you shouldn't look for that in your spouse. So that's like number one. Your spouse is not God. Your spouse is not the answer to every single prayer. And the manna raining from heaven. I don't know why that was on my mind. But,
unscripted.
Yeah, sorry guys. I think it's really important to be their friend, to be their lover, to be their encourager, their supporter. Like, be there for them. I will just say, like, in our relationship, like, I don't ever feel like I have to look anywhere else because he is my everything. And we're going on 4 years of marriage? 4 years of marriage.
Almost there.
And
feel like I've known you for 1,000,000 years.
I know.
That's even possible.
Which is so
like 200
amazing. BC. Yeah. But like, just be there for your person. And like, if you ever feel like you are not getting what you want or need from them, say it. Yeah. Like, talk about it. Communicate. I can't say it enough. Like,
yeah, because if they want,
don't expect them to read your mind or your passive aggressive behavior.
I mean, what's my favorite word? You don't know what you don't know.
And,
I mean, I say
and you
it all
can't
the time.
fix what you don't know is broken, guys. Yeah. And that's why this episode is called Building a Marriage Worth Fighting For, because you will have to fight for it, and you should want to fight for it, you know? Building a love and a relationship that you will do anything and everything to make sure that it flourishes and make sure that it stays strong and continues to grow. Yeah.
Man.
Brought some good truths and wisdom to this
episode. I mean, this is so fun. I mean,
I love it.
Talking about relations. I mean, I'm doing it with my best friend. I mean, I'm not even going to say it's everything that I dreamed of, because I never dreamed of doing this. But I mean, that's what a marriage can do for you. It can bring you to what you never thought you were, meant to do in this world, but also being able to do it with your best friend. Yeah. And we are so thankful that you guys, have sat and listened to this whole episode, and hopefully, like I said before, that you're able to gain some wisdom, gain some knowledge and understanding, and not that we're perfect. I mean, we're just speaking that hopefully we're able to educate and give somebody, some words of encouragement, words of advice, but also if we're able to prohibit somebody from messing up like we did, hopefully we can stop a heartbreak, but, even more than that, we're trying to help, the community, and we're trying to bring people to positive, and I'm so excited to finally talk about something that completely brings in the community, and us, and everything that we're trying to do with the Antwines is to empower and bring people to Christ. And we do that by showing love, support, kindness, generosity, and encouraging. And, we have dreamed for so long of being able to take our talents and our wants and bring it to the community. And that starts with being able to financially help and support, and we are so excited to finally say that we have, for a starting point, a person, that we are hoping, with y'all's gratitude and of course our gratitude, to bless this person that we have seen countless times in the community, that just has just an energy, a charisma, and a heart. She is so sweet, and she does it every single time we walk into this place. But we're hoping that, us coming here and with y'all's contributions, that we're going to be able to bless this person, and we want to be able to do this for the long time coming. We want to be able to bless people, families, organizations, practices, whatever it may be. We just want to be able to be a part of the solution. We want to be able to give people hope and empower them. And we are, so excited to bless this person, but also in the future, more organizations. And we're, so excited to be able to do this. And of course, the Antwines will match whatever donations are given, because we want to be a part of it. We want to prove to you guys that we are trying to help the community. And we're just, so excited. And, if you're trying to donate on our YouTube, you can look at the description in our bio. You can also go to theantwine.com/donate and be able to donate there. But we just can't wait for the rest month of September to get all those donations, to be able to make a little video so that you can, really be able to see the lives that you guys are helping bless, and really kind of show you that what we are saying we are about, and even more than that, I know you wanted to, kind of say, some other things that we're trying to do.
Yep. And so every single week that we do this podcast, this is just as new for us as it is for y'all. And we're continuously trying to improve and get better and get bigger and make a larger impact on the community and on our environment, those around us. And so we're brainstorming ideas of doing, partnering with some giveaways, hosting events that you guys can physically meet up with us, and we can volunteer and give back our time and our energy and our love to those local, and if you're watching online from somewhere not local, we want you to know your money, if you donate, that's not a dime of that is going into our bank account. That is 100% going to touch the lives of others and make an impact. Like Anthony was saying, that's been a big dream of ours for a long time, and we cannot wait to see the hands and feet of God, of you guys on the other side of this camera, joining with us and making an impact around the world. We've got some fun ideas and good stuff coming your way. And if you thought of anything during this episode, any questions you have, any topics you want to learn more about, please send those to us. We would love your feedback more than anything, because we want you to be a part of this. If you have something you're dealing with that you want prayer over, we want to know that as well.
Please reach out to us. Please.
Yeah, reach out to us.
Because it's impactful. Prayer is, bringing community and bringing the strength of not just us, but bringing it to our Father. And utilizing that, I mean, the power of prayer is so impactful. And, we're not asking you to spill your guts. If that's what you're able to do and you feel confident and you trust us that much, we will wholeheartedly take that. And we hope that you trust us. But even if it's not that, and you just pray for us, that is completely fine. We want to earn your trust. We want to earn your respect, but we want to make sure that that we are thinking about you, that you have a family, that you have people that want to be a part of the support system for you. So if there's any, prayer requests or anything specifically that you would like us to, pray for you and the rest of our friends, because we're going to bring a community of people to pray over you and over, your requests, so we hope that you're able to reach out to us, whether it be via email. Everybody knows our social links. Reach out to us, give us a DM, or leave a comment and leave a comment in our section. We want to make sure that we're able to be a part of that with you and make sure that that you're not alone through anything. And it doesn't have to be something, really deep either. It's anything.
Just know that we see you, we hear you, we love you, and we're here for you.
Yeah.
And we're so pumped
to
wrap up this second episode.
Yeah.
Little side note, this is our second time filming this episode, and you're getting the much better,
hopefully better,
new and improved version of it. We've put a lot of prayer and thought into this podcast, and after we filmed it, a week ago?
Yeah.
We watched it back, and we were like, we can do better. We can give more time and effort into this, and it's something that we want to last for a long time and make a lasting impact on you guys.
Yeah.
So this is our second time filming it, and I think it went rather well.
Yeah, hopefully.
And
really.
I'm so glad that you tuned in, and if you listen to this, I pray that it hit home in some area or some aspect.
Yeah.
And once again, if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to our channel. We've got a lot of good stuff coming your way.
Subscribe.
And with that, I'm Tiffany.
I'm Anthony, and we're
the Antwines.
The Antwines.